The video games industry is one of the most innovative and fastest growing industries in the world. The men and women of this industry work tirelessly to provide entertainment for the masses, and some of these provide the music. Music that we love. Music that we listen to when we're enjoying ourselves playing those video games. Music that we love. Music that we listen to when we're enjoying ourselves listening to video games. Do we even know who these people are? No. Would video games be the same without them? No. What you're about to hear?
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the great and wonderful Sunday NewsCast brought to you by Indie Game Magazine. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Nick Sescon, and with me today is my good old friend Kurt. How's it going, Kurt?
Hey, how are you, Nick?
Good. It's been a little while, a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it's been a bit. But lo and behold, we are here.
Yes.
Together.
Woo!
Just us. That's fine, though.
But we're here to bring you some awesome news, cool Kickstarters, and some strong opinions, I think, today.
This whole week has been lots of strong opinions on things, but
yeah,
this will be a good show. We have a bunch of stuff to talk about. There's a bunch of weird stuff that happened. So There's always weird, especially this whole month, there's been weird stuff happening. But let's stay contemporary. We're here now. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about some stuff.
First up, though, I kind of want to talk about our magazine. So
wait.
Let's. Okay, go ahead.
Are you sure? No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Let's talk about something positive. So we have a magazine. I don't know if people know this, but let me show it on here. Boop. Nope, that's not what I wanted at all. Why? Oh, that's the wrong one. Good. Anyway, so good. Looking so good. So that's the link there. You can check out the magazine. It's brought to you by Magster. I'm going to have to close this. Boom. There we go. Brought to you by Magster. And it's awesome. Prices are there. And they're really, really cheap. So a full year subscription is like $30 Canadian, which is kind of cool. Anyway, we have another amazing issue coming out. That'll be coming out in the next couple of days. Wow.
Yeah, couple days.
I didn't even realize how late in the month it was. Good Lord.
I know. But this new issue, none of us have seen it. I haven't seen it, at least. But it's beginning lots of talk and hype. It's supposed to be beautiful and probably the best looking one so far. But
yeah. I know. I had a really interesting experience with a game that I was going to be playing where the game itself was very good, but I ended up becoming part of the community within about an hour of like playing the game, and it was this really cool experience. So anyway, yeah, make sure to check out that article.
Yeah, definitely. What did you do for it? Was it
it was called Life is Feudal, the game, and it was like an open world medieval game.
Huh.
Yeah, but online, so lots of people. Anyway, it was a crazy experience.
Well, that's awesome. I want to read that.
What else do we want to talk about? Probably talk about the fact that you can subscribe now to our Hitbox channels. And the nice thing about subscribing to the Hitbox channels is that you get 3 channels for free, because it's anybody in our IGM stream team, which includes myself, Bonnie, who's also on the show, and then this channel here. And when you are subscribed, you get to be eligible for giveaways, including like game keys and magazine subscriptions. And a lot of that kind of stuff is going to be coming up, and we're ramping it up for December and the whole Christmas season. So
yes, the holidays.
Yeah. If you want to support a good cause, help us help you by making this magazine.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Indies and the indies, supporting the indies.
So much indie.
All the indies.
It's like Indieception. That's what we need.
Change the magazine title.
You're right? Indieception. I don't know if we get as much critical acclaim for that, though.
I don't want to hear it. They just don't know genius.
Right? Well said.
Okay, so subscribe to stuff.
Yes, all the subs.
And what else do we have? Extra Life stuff?
Yeah, let's stop talking about shameless plugs. I wanted
There's
to
never
talk
enough.
about
We have no shame.
if Jesse Cox has taught me anything, shamelessly plug as hard as you can. But yeah, I wanted to start the day off with something extremely positive that I've seen. Everybody has probably heard of the Extra Life campaign right now going on, and the thing that I wanted to bring up that I love most about it is it's very much like the old ALS campaign that they've used the online medium to really get the word out. So like right now there's thousands of people doing Extra Life charity streams. Like my co-host for Average Giants did his yesterday and actually raised I think about $500.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's great for him. If you're out there, Giant, good on you, man.
Yeah, seriously.
But I just thought it was really interesting. I like being able to, and this is going to contrast the rest of today, but I like being able to see the community surrounding streamers, game development companies, indie game developers, the gaming press, and like YouTubers and all that coming together for something actually positive like this. It's
Oh, absolutely.
It's unfortunately too rare, and I think it needs to happen more.
And I mean, but the most frustrating part is like I don't think it is as rare as it may seem to be. I just think I just think those positive, cool folk maybe don't see a need to vocalize it as much. I think that just kind of goes with like the being humble type of thing. Like you're doing this, you want to do it, and unfortunately, just those who are angry for no apparent reason are way more likely to shout their opinions. So and those people get seen more. So it's I think our community is awesome, and we have so many positive, great people in it. It's just they don't feel the need to shout as much.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this is amazing. And yeah, this started. Wait, did this start this week or was this yesterday?
This started this week. I know they had their official broadcast is today. I thought. They're offline right now, so maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, I do know. Like I was looking through a bunch of the top fundraisers and top teams and that, and you see a lot of different people. Like you're looking right here, you have Tryon, which makes like Rift and Defiance and Archage, and then you've got Rooster Teeth on the same page, or Turbine, who did like Lord of the Rings Online and Dungeons and Dragons Online, and then you've got like Captain Sparkle from the streaming YouTubing. So it's kind of interesting to see the crazy amount of people that have gotten involved with this. And you're right, it's something that's awesome and positive, and I think if we had more of a focus on it in the community, that the view of the community would even change.
Yeah, and that needs to happen.
Yes.
Like, as soon as possible.
Yeah. Let me just quickly segue there, because why does that need to happen? Because of stuff like what we're about to show you.
This is only like one bit.
This is one. Yeah. So, I apologize, there may be some strong language, because I think they're actually showing some of his tweets. But recently, this week in Indie Game News, a developer by the name of Mike Malback, who we had on Average Giants. I believe he was our second or third guest. So that's like last February.
Wow.
But, so, the facts of what happened is his game, he's very famous for making Paranautical Activity, which is like Binding of Isaac if it were Doom.
Yes.
Very, very good game. One of the first games that got through the Steam greenlight, and he was finally ready to launch the game, and he got on the Steam front page because he was, what was it? It was a Halloween special, Halloween-themed sale that they were going on. And he was ready to launch, so he's launching the actual game, and they put him on the front page, so everything was going good, indie dream come true, except that they had said that he was still in early access.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I'm not sure if many people know Mike Malback, but he has a reputation in the indie game scene, much like Phil Fish who made Fez, and the reputation is to be kind of vocal and kind of rude.
Yeah.
And so things were said. I know his personal opinions of Steam are very low to begin with. He doesn't.
Well, I think we all know that now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very much so. And so he made a personal threat to the owner of Valve, Gabe Newell, which you can see in the Twitter there. However, I wanted to bring this up as a discussion because since this happened, he's left his company so that the rest of the company didn't take as much blowback from this, but obviously they did. Steam has removed the game and any game from him off of their store, and they're not going to be bringing it back. And he's pretty much vowed to get out of the indie gaming scene. So, what are your thoughts? You have one tweet, and it ruins your entire career.
Yeah. Well,
too harsh? Not harsh enough?
So, I personally, I think he made the right choice, but the only thing is, so first and foremost, it's Gabe Newell. Yeah. I can't, there's really nothing else I could say there. He's a god amongst the industry.
You don't mess with Batman of the gaming industry.
So, Steam, despite what I guess I can't speak as an indie game developer here, but, Steam, despite what made some developers think of it, it's kind of a godsend. Without it, I don't think a lot of game developers and publishers would really be able to have the widespread or even the push.
Oh, not at all.
Exactly. So it's just
you'd still have the broken distribution model of trying to get it to EB Games. Little known fact, anytime you're at GameStop or EB Games or something and they ask you, hey, do you want to get this pre-owned and save $5, that's so that they don't have to pay the the developer anything.
Exactly.
That's why they do that. It's a horrible, horrible system, and it takes 50% of the money out of the actual developers from buying at GameStop. So I'm a big fan of online stores. But anyway, sorry, continue, Kurt.
No, you're fine. But that's basically, so back to your question, should one tweet ruin your career? Mm-hmm. Well, I think first and foremost, you shouldn't be making death threats, period. It's
well said.
Just that's it. I can't put that anyway. You shouldn't be saying that, especially on Twitter. And you shouldn't be saying that. You shouldn't be saying that at all. But especially if you're a product of the community and you're someone like this person who made a very popular game, you definitely don't say that.
Yeah.
And to reiterate, you don't say that to Gabe Newell. So it's important to note that it was his personal choice to back out. So no one told him. Of course, a lot of people told him to get out, but it's not like Steam told him to leave, as far as I know. It's not like anybody told him to get out of the community. I just think he realized after that he probably can no longer fix something that's been broken. Mm-hmm. So, it's tough. Should one tweet ruin your career? We're in a society where nobody really understands social communication online yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's a really tough question to answer because maybe it should. And if it's geared to the wrong person.
It's really interesting because a death threat is also what brought down Phil Fish, who is a man who made a game named Fez. And because not death threat, he said you should go die. And he was actually making a reference to Bender of Futurama. But in the Twitterverse, it was taken poorly because he's always taken poorly. And his career also ended because of that. However, the man that created Braid, that I can never remember the name of, is also well known for patronizing his fans and going on forums and explaining things and just ridiculing his own fans. And he hasn't seen any blowback whatsoever.
That's true. But I think that guy isn't. Though he's very. It seems like he's very directly vocal.
Yeah.
He's infamous for just appearing places online speaking directly to the person who he wants to speak to. He's not like this guy or Phil Fish, who are like literally their Twitter is just their rage.
That's
that's
very true.
it. So I mean, not that he should be getting any more not that he should be respected anymore, because he's still doing it online, but I mean, at least he's going to the source. He's going to that person. I also don't think, and from what I've seen, how he speaks to his fans, yeah, he ridicules them, but I don't think it's done in such a just
Negative
gratuitously, in such a negative, angry way. It's more like he's trying to inform his audience about what he had intended, when people like this guy are just like, I want to kill you, and that's not how you handle problems. So, yeah.
My personal opinion on it would be something along the lines of, I always see the internet as an anonymous forum, and because of that, I find people think that they can treat other people poorly or poorer than they would in real life, and that's the advent of the troll, of the Call of Duty or the Halo troll, is because you're never going to face...
The faceless,
Yeah. So, Phil Fish and Mike Malback were very famous for their rage on, like, Twitter, and I think they took that too seriously, that there was this anonymity that protected them, and so they could be as rageful as they wanted.
It essentially, in the end, kind of defined their persona.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what they were expected to be.
I think this is good. It sucks that he's not in the industry anymore, but I think it shows that whether or not you have an anonymous forum, you're still not immune to the consequences of your actions online, which is a positive change.
Yes. I really just think it's crazy to think, but all this industry, this form of communication, it's all still so young, and people just, it's crazy to us to think, because we're in the thick of it, but people don't have a grasp yet of how to handle it. And I just think that's something to always take in consideration before you say anything. It's just like what you're saying. I mean, you don't understand how this all works yet. No, none of us do.
Yeah.
And we don't have things to regulate how we speak. We don't have like laws set up. You know, like it's just like there's nothing to confine it really. Only bits and things have come in for surface. But so yeah.
Okay. I think that's exactly well said, and I think that's a good time to move on to something different. So.
Oh, it's some interesting good news, I think.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't actually know how to say these. Daedalic?
I think it's Daedalic.
Daedalic. Okay, so the German video game distributors picked up the Kickstarter success Dead Synchronicity, which was an independently made game by Victorama Studios.
Yeah.
Great guys, exceptionally nice, fantastic dudes. I interviewed them for the website.
They did Deponia. The Deponia Saga. They did the Deponia Saga. That's huge.
Yes. So, but these, so Victorama Studios, they had their game funded back in April. They've been going at it, making a new point-and-click adventure game, more in the sense of serious point-and-click adventure games. They commonly have adventure games are usually more comical, blah, blah, blah. They're making a more serious, darker version. It looks awesome. I'm really excited for it. Cool. But they got picked up by a fairly huge distribution thing, and that's, I personally think, amazing news for an indie game developer. That's fantastic. So I'm really happy that this happened. I think it's really cool that this small independent studio, 4 people, were recognized this much and were able to have their game distributed with full voice acting now, which I don't think it was going to have originally, for German, Spanish, and English. And they're also going to get physical copies and stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's great. Yeah, it's cool.
That's cool. My one question was going to be your feelings or thoughts on like bigger studios picking up the indie guys after they get their Kickstarter off.
Yeah, this is definitely a good way to start that conversation because, you know,
So
I think
that's some shaky ground that we're walking on there.
yes, yeah, and I think, I mean, you know, some people, there's this whole question like, what is indie anymore?
Yeah.
Because indie games are on a rise, and there's people, you know, there's games like Braid and Fez and those things that are huge and known just as well.
Minecraft.
Oh God, I could see once that didn't even come to mind.
Yeah, it doesn't anymore.
It didn't come to mind. But that is honestly like that's probably one of the most important ones, the most important one to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Next to I would say like Braid, in terms of a movement. But how do I feel? You know what? I'm totally okay with it. It all goes back to this. As a musician, I can relate to this a little bit better. But people are always upset when like their beloved indie band is their music's then being used in like a car commercial, and people go up in this rage, being like, "Oh my God, I can't believe these people sold out."
"Quote unquote sold out." Man, you know how I define selling out? Just if we want to talk about music, coming from the other side, coming from the audio engineer's perspective on the music industry.
Of course.
People that say other people have sold out are people that are jealous for somebody making it successful.
Mm-hmm.
For being able to make a paycheck that'll pay their rent.
Exactly. Once again relating to the song in a car commercial, like heaven forbid that artist got what they wanted and that was paid.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So
isn't that why you're a fan? Is because you want to see them succeed?
Exactly. That's why these people are even in the industry. They have the idea to create something and give it out to people in hopes that it could replace their day job. You know, like in hopes that, you know, that this can be their work. And with that said, you know, I mean, of course, there's been certain circumstances where a huge company would buy out an indie game company, and it kind of ruins the flair and awe. But so is big business. But I think it's great that these guys have now a proper distribution way of like a company that actually cares about their product. They're going to be able to get paid. They're going to know they're paid instead of going day to day by their Kickstarter, and then they're going to release the game and be like, "Oh my God, is the game actually going to sell now? And are we going to be able to continue working?"
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just this is all in the support of the artist, and that's fine. That's good. They did what they got what they wanted.
I will tentatively agree with that. Yes, I do see.
Yes.
Well, I do see the obvious fears of how publishers are the devil in any industry, in that they'll pick up a game saying, "You have a really cool thing. Here's another $3 million, but we don't want you to make an adventure game. We want it to be a first-person shooter." Stuff like that, where that's like, I don't want to see publishers taking indie games and changing base mechanics or something like that, because the problem obviously is the eternal struggle between indie and AAA. Us indie guys get to try new things because we don't have a huge investment in our game that needs to see a return for the investors. So the one thing I'm worried about is seeing big investors going, "Oh, that Kickstarter looks great. We should just buy them up, and then they'll be our new investment." That's what I don't want to see. I want to see indie games breaking the ice.
No, absolutely. Yes. No, that's what I'm saying. It's given certain circumstances, there's always that kind of, it's like some company, like, I mean, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I mean, basically, I was trying to think of an example in my head, and nothing was coming to me at the moment. But
thankfully, it hasn't really happened yet.
Yeah, and then once again, I think it's just because like the industry is still young, and the indie scene is still young.
Yeah,
I think it's always going to be smaller developers always, and I don't know. I was actually saying this earlier this week. I really do think this whole indie game movement of the past few years have been reminiscent of 90s game development before the industry was really defined. So I really feel like we're starting to see, like, I wouldn't be, history tends to repeat itself, and I wouldn't be surprised if 5-10 years from now we kind of have another big AAA movement. And then we would see the indie developers being a part of that, and then it would repeat.
It's funny you mention that because I always talk about how the mobile scene right now is kind of mimicking the gaming scene in the early 80s and like the gaming crash of 83. So,
Oh, God.
right?
Until Dragon Slayer came along. So we didn't have Dragon Slayer.
So it's kind of, it's funny you say that. I have Dragon Slayer 1 and 2 and Space Ace on my phone now.
Oh, so good.
So
good.
But on my phone now. Anyway, that's a conversation for a different day.
I know, but real quick, think about the laser disc, and then think about your phone.
Now
we can move on.
Thing about the Game Boy Advance had more technology in it than the Apollo 11.
That's what? That's
Not even kidding. And that is like, what, 10-ish years old now? That is like generations ago.
Ugh, God, I want to throw up. Anyways.
But yeah, so you're seeing two sides of the gaming industry happening at the same time. So it'll be interesting. Like you said, this is new. This is happening. Like we've seen, one of the things we complain about on our show quite often is when AAAs try to use Kickstarter to get extra money for their games.
Oh yeah. Especially when AAA developers kind of do it in a
like Harmonix.
Exactly, and they're just kind of like, we need this. Like,
yeah, they just released a new game with Disney. Like Disney, what the hell are you getting on my Kickstarter? But that seems to be a common reaction, and so I'm wondering if the AAAs are going to react to that by getting off Kickstarter, waiting to see who gets through their Kickstarter or who deserves to get through their Kickstarter and maybe doesn't, and going, hey, how would you like an extra $3 million to make that game?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I think we're going to see that, and I'm not looking forward to that. Not at all.
Real quick before we move on, I find it really, as you know, I'm a big adventure gamer fan, and I'm really quite pleased that it was an adventure game, this one, that was picked up by a bigger company. I think that's really cool. So,
you have Telltale to thank for that.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, even then, they still, this is a whole different discussion, but, Telltale's doing their thing, and they're modernizing in their own ways, but Dead Synchronicity is very classic. I played the demo that they had released, and it's very reminiscent. Like, it could have been released in 1998, or better yet, 1996, and I don't think anybody would blink an eye that it fits perfectly right then. So, anyways, I'm glad it was an adventure game that was picked up. Just saying.
No, it is. It's very good. What was I going to say? And that's one of the things, like you said, conversation for another day, but I like that Telltale has kind of revitalized the adventure game industry.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, let's get on to our featured Kickstarter, which I'm quite curious to see, actually. So it's called Empyrean Galactic Survival.
Oh, I saw. Yeah, this game looks kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, it looks kind of big. Anyway, we can watch a video. It's quite a long video, so grab your popcorn, do up your seatbelts, and let's get ready for this ride.
Hi guys, welcome to our game studio. My name is John and I'm project manager on a new game we're very excited about called Empyrean. Empyrean is an open world space survival adventure in which you can fly your ship anywhere in space and can explore any object you see without any limitations. Imagine that while you're flying through space you see a planet in distance. As you get closer, you can see there are mountains on it. Well, the really cool thing is that you can actually keep flying towards the planet and eventually land on these mountains. Then you can get off your ship and freely explore your surroundings. And if while walking around you suddenly notice a moon on the horizon, you can jump back on your ship and fly straight to it to see what it's got to offer. So as you can see, unlike many other games, Empyrean offers a true free roaming experience. We use a voxel-based terrain on each planet, which means that you can entirely modify the terrain, flatten it for your planetary station, dig holes to find resources, or build a tunnel system to protect yourself. What also makes this game unique is that it combines elements for space simulations, construction games, survival games, and ego shooters. If you're looking for a game which combines all these elements, then Empyrean is definitely the game for you. Everything begins after your spaceship crashed on an unknown planet in a distant galaxy. You're the sole survivor, and to make it, you must use whatever the planet has to offer, but it won't be easy. You can search for resources to build the first shelter, or explore the planet for remaining equipment from the crashed spaceship. Ultimately, you should seek a way to reach the orbit of the planet and start building your big mothership, which will allow you to leave the solar system. In Empyrean, you'll have to build your ships and bases using building blocks made of various raw materials. But you'll also have to combine the same raw materials and craft equipment such as engines, power generators, shields, energy cells, weapons, and so on. It's all about building, exploring, fighting, and surviving in a procedurally generated galaxy that contains hundreds of different solar systems. The ultimate goal of the game is to find a mysterious planet called Empyrean. Survival is key in Empyrean. Each planet has got its own characteristics and potentially unforgiving conditions. For example, you discover alien planets with harmful cosmic radiation or acid rain, as well as planets with an enormous gravity that sticks you to the ground. The game also simulates different climates and weather conditions. In order to produce your own building blocks and craft your equipment, you must gather and mine resources that you find on planets and asteroids. To be successful, you must adapt to a planet's unique environment and geography. Find the best strategy to efficiently obtain the resources you need. It's a true sandbox game. The game simulates electricity, airflow, maneuverability, gravity, damage, construction solidity, and much more. There will be a variety of enemies ranging from wild creatures living on planets to intelligent alien races who can attack you anywhere. Empyrean is the game that we've always dreamed of doing and that we're very passionate about. We've always had a very clear vision for the game, and your support will allow us to turn it into a reality. It took about 2 years to build the game engine and the prototype, and now we need Kickstarter to complete its development. The success of this campaign is important for us because we're a small and independent game studio. We don't want to rely on external funding from investors because we want to stay independent and develop a novel and innovative game. We want you, the fans, to contribute and let us know what you want to see in the game. The funding we get from Kickstarter will allow some of our developers to work on the game full-time and thus speed up the development and deliver the game much sooner. If the idea of a game where you can fly across space, explore randomly generated planets, build your own spaceships, fight with or against other players, explore a huge galaxy, and struggle for survival gets you excited, then welcome to Empyrean. Stay tuned, and thanks for watching.
Interesting. So yeah, long video, but how interesting was that one?
That's a lot to take in.
So you need 50,000 pounds. That's I'd peg that. For a game that ambitious, I'm surprised it's not more.
Yeah, I was when you said 50,000 for a second, I was expecting like 500,000, but yeah, whoa. I mean, like I said this in chat, like, so I think this game is wildly ambitious, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's actually that I kind of actually even deters me away a bit. Like I don't know how much I could, if I'd be able to personally like invest my time in just such an absurd game like this. Minecraft, I guess, is a lot different, but it's still in the same, I would say, similar vein of.
It's like Minecraft and Starbound.
Yes, yes. But yeah, exactly. But this is something I would love to see people play. Like, which is when you mentioned like YouTube and streaming stuff, I was like, this would be a game I wouldn't want to invest time in, but I would love to see what crazy weird stuff the community is doing.
I would love to be part of that. I'm gonna talk to these guys for Average Giants for sure.
Except that episode would probably have to be a day long.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. 24-hour Average Giants stream. That'd be interesting.
Oy vey.
What was I going to say? This is also one of our featured Kickstarters on IGM. So if you're pledging, I believe it starts at £30, you'll get one digital issue of the Indie Game Magazine, and £45 and above gets you a full year subscription, which that's what, like £25 on its own. So that's a heck of a price, heck of a deal.
Damn, Skippy.
Yeah. Anyway, I may think about backing this one, see if it actually makes it. I'm going to talk to them for Average Giants, but let's move on. So we have some cool Kickstarters today that I wanted to touch on. Like this one. I may have picked this next Kickstarter because it takes place in Canada.
Oh. That isn't where you live, is it? I'm just kidding.
Oddly enough, so it does take place in Canada, but it's not made in Canada. And they have a huge goal. So the last game was asking for £50,000. This game is asking for nearly double. Let's see why they need double the money of that ridiculously ambitious game, shall we?
There's snow.
Yep, snow.
As expected.
All right, I'm going to hit play.
8 years ago, on September 5th, 2018, a Level 10 asteroid hit the Canadian province of Manitoba. The event became known as the catastrophe, but unfortunately it was just the beginning. Debris from the impact filled the Earth's atmosphere, blocking the sun. Plant life died out, the oceans froze over, and then came the snowfall. They call it impact winter. My name is Jacob Solomon. I travel the void looking for supplies. It's a hostile, snow-covered wasteland that covers the world we once knew. Equipped with Acolyte, my android companion, I lead a team of survivors. We work to build a safe haven and resolve the problems that threaten our existence. We do this because in 30 days, help is coming.
So, worth £95,000? The game looks great. I'm gonna go out there and say the game looks really good. I like the art style. I like the serious tones in that, but I don't know. They're already halfway through their Kickstarter and they're at £11,000, which is good. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. And that's off nothing, really.
Yeah.
I would say. I mean, like, I don't, like... I think I think something we commonly see here on this show specifically, too, when we're talking about certain Kickstarters is there's some Kickstarters do a great job. I kind of like the last one. I would say, you know, did an amazing job of, like, showing the face of the developer, like, kind of saying why they need the money.
Yep.
And this one has, as you see, like there's like it has this amazing visual style. It's almost like this, cinematic movie posters and stuff like that. But
so why do you need that much money?
exactly. So there's nothing there to tell me like why you need it. Do you need it for voice acting? Do you need it for like the length of the game? Do you need it for?
And I will say that I'm sure it'll tell us if we read down through the Kickstarter, but unfortunately, people have the attention spans of woodpeckers.
This is also true.
So yeah, that's very true. Since we've been doing this podcast for so long, I would say that there is definitely a formula to the video you need in Kickstarter, which is like the intro to the game, the intro to your developing company, the reason why you need Kickstarter, and then showing off what the game will become.
Yes.
Either through having a playable demo or through having gameplay on your video.
Yes. Yeah, there's it's definitely, I mean, surprisingly there's been a lot of really good successful Kickstarters that have nothing been but gameplay footage. But usually that gameplay footage really exemplifies what it is and where it can go. And this one, I to be completely honest, I really don't know what it is. I mean, I understand that it's like a survival adventure, but like upon watching that, I can't say like I wouldn't be able to go on the street and tell somebody how the mechanics of this game works or how
No. I know it's set in Manitoba, which is why there's so much snow.
So 95,000, that's a lot. Are you gonna back this on principle because
it's set in Canada? As tempting as that is, I don't think I will. Well, that one definitely not. The next one. So this one I wanted to talk about. We're just gonna watch probably the first 2 minutes or so of the video, and then we can talk about it because, I want to hear your thoughts too.
Okay.
So this is called Video Games Live. When it's not a game, so I'm gonna hit play.
Hi, my name's Tommy Tellerico. I've been a video game composer for over 25 years, and I'm the creator and producer of Video Games Live. Now, before I start, I just want to say that there's something very cool that happens at the end of this video. Now, I know you could easily just skip to the end and ruin the surprise. Actually, that's probably what I would do, but hopefully you'll listen to all of the parts in between because I have something really important to say to everyone. Just over a year ago, I had a dream to create an album with the help of Kickstarter and people from all over the world just like you. I wanted to be able to record our third album called Video Games Live Level 3 with hundreds of talented musicians, use the best studios in the world, but most of all, I wanted to help bring together all my talented game composer colleagues and friends from around the world as well. In order to accomplish the dream, it was going to take a lot of time and money, and a lot of people thought I was crazy and that we would never make it. But something really incredible happened during the project. People started coming together and it made the project their dream as well. And it became not just a project for me, but it became a project that everybody took ownership in. Now, as you may know, Level 3 came out.
That's about enough. So, what he wants to do with 150 grand is make a new album. A fourth album. So,
that's an expensive album.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're that guy.
Yeah,
I guess it's not,
for the music production, paying all the composers, etc. But here's my question. This is album number 4. After he already has a successful tour going and a successful career.
Yeah.
So why is he on Kickstarter asking for so much money? If this is the 4th album, the last one was already done with Kickstarter.
Oh, see, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the last album, the Level 3, was made with Kickstarter money, so he's going back to Kickstarter to do this one. Which, I mean, I get it. It's cool. I like the music, but Kickstarter is supposed to be about kickstarting your company.
Yes.
So where do we draw the line in the projects that you do? I mean, you can kickstart for everything technically if you want. It irks me a little bit that as well there's so much showmanship in this, which just also kind of irks me.
Well, this dude has been in the industry for
Ever.
exactly forever. Like I said, like he's been doing soundtracks since NES days, and more notably, my personal favorite RoboCop vs. Terminator Sega Genesis game, which has a real weird soundtrack. But
I thought you were gonna go with Earthworm Jim.
yes, but yeah, that's like this goes back to what we were saying earlier, like AAA dudes going to Kickstarter and asking for a ridiculous amount of money. Skibbity bop, shoo wop wop. Yeah, Tommy, I don't know, dude. Like he was also a TV personality too.
Yeah, Tommy, let's level. Let's level here.
Let's
Seriously,
level this out.
why are you on our indie website?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it can go and be like, so was Kickstarter always meant for indies? I don't know. I mean, obviously it was meant for those who couldn't get funding elsewhere.
Yeah, but can he not get funding elsewhere?
Yeah. What about everyone in his band? Or everyone, I mean, can't they? Well, I'm sure they pitched in a few dollars. I don't know. This is tough. I just guess I really what it comes down to is I really don't mind that he's on Kickstarter, and I don't mind that he's asking for help. But knowing that he used Kickstarter for his last album, and knowing that he wants $150,000 is where it's a little concerning. Maybe if he was asking for a little less, to be like, hey, we have this so far, now we just need to get over that small hump, and we had, this other, we had this other successful Kickstarter for hundreds of thousands of dollars, but now we just need this tiny little bit to get a little further. That would make a lot more sense to me.
That's an excellent point. I think I would be much more into this if he was like, hey guys, I have this huge career, and I use Kickstarter to make this one album. I want to make a new album, but we need to rent out the space.
Yes.
Or something like that. Like, cool, man, I get it. That can be expensive. Let me help you out. But if he's like, I want to make a new album, but I'm not going to make it unless you pay for it.
Exactly.
And then buy it.
And that also goes to say, too, as we're jibber-jabbering and, essentially questioning why he's doing this, he's going to make his goal. I mean,
I know. He's got 33 days left, and he's 75% funded.
Yeah. So... And I mean, it's no.
You see that, and I don't mean to pick on you guys, Yin, but you see somebody like this, and then you see a game like Demon's Revenge that is amazing, has its own art that's like done themselves, game is coded themselves, and they put their fucking heart and soul into it, and they've had to relaunch a couple of times to try and get funded, and right now they're sitting at 70% ish, probably a little over 70%. You guys can let me know in chat. But it's still not automatically funded, and it kills me because Kickstarter is meant for Yin and Trexel. It's not meant for Mr. 25 years of experience.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, this is damn Skippy.
Yeah.
I don't know, yeah, like I said earlier, if it was a little bit more of a modest approach of being like, we are successful, we have done this, and we've done it already, but all we need is this little thing, that would make more sense. But
yeah,
Tommy, you guy, you do the soundtracks, everybody knows who you are, or at least I do.
Tammy. Come on, Tammy, come on.
Go play a show and go play. Obviously, it'll sell well.
I need to make an album.
That's how musicians, exactly. Yes.
How should I do this? I should tour to make money to make an album. Oh, exactly. What a genius idea that we invented in the fucking 50s.
Playing shows is what gets you money. So go play a show. Go do a small little show, and then you can work your way up doing a bigger one. But that's okay because he's already done big ones. And unless he just wants to be a rock star. A
Kickstarter-funded rock star? Hey, Kickstarter, I'm your current rock star, and I want a crack addiction. But I can't get there without your help.
Nothing says rock and roll like going to Kickstarter. Okay.
Let's go to something a little bit happier here. We'll talk about Nubberon The Adventure of an Unlucky Gnome. Have you heard anything about this?
No, I've not. But I feel like every time I'm here on this show and we talk about something Irish related, when it has to deal with gnomes, I'm always a little confused. Even though I don't even know, gnomes aren't Irish, are they? I don't even know.
I wouldn't know. I know they're Fey folk, so they're definitely like old European.
Gotcha. Anyways, no, I don't know about this, but let's talk about it.
Okay, let's watch a video. It's kind of cute, and then we can talk about it.
In the peaceful forest of the deep blue sky, our little friend Gnome woke up feeling something was not right. His mighty lucky hat was nowhere to be found. Instead, there was a stormy cloud chasing him around. Cloud wouldn't let him stay calm, and that's why the adventure began. What? Damn! I said the adventure began. Through numerous lands he traveled, for stopping would have meant trouble. Cloud was a dangerous companion, throwing thunders like a blue dragon. But a helpful one as well, aiding Gnome here and there. Gnome noticed this pretty soon, for he was not alone. And with Cloud's powerful help, he solved as many mysteries as one can tell. Nothing seemed to be an obstacle for him. Well, maybe except for that thing! Please don't let your eyes grow worried, for you'll have a say in this story.
What the hell was that?
Oh, just the acid trip moment. Don't worry about it. So, the adventure of an unlucky gnome. Thoughts? Yeah. Same problem, by the way.
I'm sorry, that guy's voice.
We just watched a game trailer.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous game. But we don't know who they are or why they need Kickstarter, and they're asking for $50,000. I can see it being an interesting mix of a puzzle adventure and a rage game, because I'm sure that lightning cloud thing just pisses you off.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm just
still processing. So let me talk about how good the art was in that game, because it was an amazing looking game.
That last bit of him going across the water was really quite cool looking.
Yeah. Yeah.
But otherwise,
not a fan, Kurt. Not a fan.
No, you know what? I think I am, because I think if I wasn't, I'd probably be saying a lot. I think I think I would express my negative feelings probably easier. But this, I'm just like, I have nothing to say negative, and I really don't. I'm just like, yep. I just he's got a weird voice.
Kurt has been flabbergasted. You are completely and 100% flabbergasted.
Well, the moment I heard his voice, I was just like, okay, I just, yep, that's a thing. It's speaking to me. What a handsome little guy that is. Sure thing. That's really where I stand.
So, they already have 15,000 4 days into their Kickstarter.
From who?
What's that?
From who?
I don't know. All of their early birds are gone. That's crazy.
In all seriousness, I do think this game looks quite interesting and really pretty. I think the artwork is beautiful, and some even mentioned kind of like it's very Rayman-ish, and I agree.
Yeah.
Like I love the hand painted, like illustrated style. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So.
And
I'm not completely, like what the. This is, that guy.
I'm not that guy. Just don't label me as that guy.
The guy.
It's interesting. I'm gonna keep an eye on this one, because I don't know if that narrator is throughout the whole game.
Oh boy.
That experience might be worth the money itself.
Yeah. I don't even know if I were to do a streaming of that. I don't think I could speak because it would just be that guy leaves me speechless.
There. Yeah.
Hello.
You wouldn't even show the game. It would just be your face cam and the face cam reactions of the narrator.
I would pay for that. I would definitely pay for that. Let's get that on the what was it? The positive thing, Extra Life. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's pop that on Extra Life. See how that goes.
Well, I guess I'm interested to meet people who want to play this game really bad. I want to know who the developers are. I want to know what their intentions were.
Yeah, totally. I know they're from Argentina, which is cool.
God. That means nothing, by the way.
Yeah,
Argentina
not at all. Not at all. I assume they used a different voice actor because that accent was interesting.
No, they can't change that voice actor.
No. He's already iconic.
Obviously, $45,000 of the Kickstarter is going to him.
Yeah, and that's from now on. We're gonna say the word Nuberon, and you're gonna be like, yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing.
I guess I've seen way worse. Way worse.
Oh yeah, totally.
But I would play this.
Let's talk about some technology, shall we? We're not going to be doing a game next. This one really interested me. Except my one... Ooh, stop. There. Stupid video. Quit it. There we go. My one beef with it is that the games they show are very old.
Okay.
Yeah. Stop video! It keeps starting on its own. My mouse... I need a new mouse. My left click is starting to double click on its own. Anyway... Let's watch this video and then talk about this amazing piece of technology that I'm not even going to name it yet.
Damn it! That's the 5th time! You're cheating somehow.
Nope, Mad Genius controller.
Motion controller? Buttons are way faster.
It's not about the time it takes to push a button, it's about the time it takes to get on target. I get off the first shot, and you're dead.
Stop! You cannot rewrite this game for a motion controller.
I don't have to, it just plugs in. Any console or PC, even games you already have.
Now I know you're lying. Everyone knows that motion controllers are too sloppy.
It would appear that everybody is wrong. Sorry, that won't work. I can follow you.
Damn it!
I can lead you when you move. Move, hide, and shoot all at the same time. 1/10 of an inch accuracy, 0 drift, and if I don't feel like moving, I just snap it back together and it's a standard controller.
Even if it works sometimes, buttons will always be better.
Buttons and sticks still work, even with motion. You lose nothing. It comes with profiles for tons of games. You can change them, create your own profiles, and share them online.
Nobody wants to stand up for hours to play video games.
I'm killing you from the couch right now. And you're dead.
Game over. You can use the Mad Genius controller straight out of the box with existing games and consoles, including Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PlayStation, PS2, PS3, PS4, Nintendo, and PCs. No hardware modification is required. Just plug it into the standard console controller port with the provided console adapters. The Mad Genius controller utilizes an absolute positioning system which tracks fine movements without drift or tracking errors and responds with unprecedented 1/100th of an inch accuracy. This absolute positioning system means faster, easier, and more accurate aiming than with a stick or other conventional controls, and the possibility of new game controls that conventional controllers cannot provide. It reconfigures aiming and moving as you play, and motion can be programmed to change as gameplay changes for actions like steering, walking, or using special weapons like a bow or a pistol. The Mad Genius controller adds all of this supplemental technology while preserving existing controls. This means that standard buttons and sticks always work. When you split the controller in half, each hand's motion and position can be tracked individually for more complex actions, and sticks and buttons still work. The Mad Genius controller can be used standing, moving around, and sitting on the couch, and motion can be turned off at any time by putting the controller back together. Users can also move freely in an 8-foot by 12-foot area in front of the display utilizing motion. The Mad Genius controller works plug and play with head-mounted displays like Oculus, as well as desktop PCs and console flat screens. The motion language can be customized for individual players and for different games. The Mad Genius will come ready with setups for most popular games, which can be modified by users. You can create, upload, share, and download setups for new or existing games through our Motion Profile Customization interface. And a development kit will also be available for developers and hobbyists to use the location technology for applications other than gaming. Add an edge to your gaming with Mad Genius controllers.
Thanks for watching the video. I'm Don Ryder, inventor of the Mad Genius controller. I've always wanted to combine precision motion tracking with traditional gaming, so I built the prototype you've just seen. Not only did it work, but it created a whole new experience. We took it to CES 2014 to get feedback from the other gamers, and the response we received was amazing. Now we want to make it something you can use. With your pledge, we will transform this prototype into something you can play with. And this is not just a dev kit. You'll be able to play new games and games you already have right out of the box. Thank you.
Interesting. Interesting.
So, yeah. I mean, there's actually, yeah. I don't know.
Oh my god, that gnome broke you!
Yeah! I kind of feel like I did a little bit. the rest of the show, I'm just going to start my sentences and stop. And just, Nuberin or Nuberon or whatever. Anyways, yeah. Talk about it, Nick, please.
So, I really like it. I think it's an interesting way to do usability. And it's a cool step for gaming. It's nice that it's backwards compatible and forwards compatible.
That is really cool.
Because motion sensing or motion controllers right now are shit. Even like for the PC, we've got the Hydra. So yeah, I don't think these guys are going to be backed, but I think they're a step in the right direction. So if you want the early bird special, it's $300 for one of these controllers right now. Otherwise, there's $330.
Wow, that's expensive.
Yep, and they need $850,000 in the next 22 days.
Wow. Okay, so like conceptually, I think the thing is actually pretty cool. And like, there's been controllers in the past that you can split in half. I've seen those.
Yep.
And I think that's really convenient. For just off the top of my head, like people who are probably handicapped and can't easily hold their hands together or want to play console games and stuff like that. So like that concept there, I think is cool. The motion control thing is cool. I really like that you can play it on like PS1, Xbox, pretty much any existing modern system for that most part. But the thing is hideous, and I know that's like shouldn't be the drawback of it.
It's still a prototype. It's still a
Yeah.
prototype, because if they are funded, this won't be launched until December of 2015 for the Kickstarter launches. So the fact that it's wired, that's not going to be in the final product, and they say that how it looks is also not going to be in the final product.
But $300 that's really expensive.
That is a hell of a lot for a controller.
I could go buy a video game system for that much.
I will break their Kickstarter right now. I will buy an Oculus Rift for that much.
Ooh.
What would you rather have? A controller that you can break in half whenever you're angry? Or an Oculus Rift?
Wow. Good point.
Yeah.
Because that's an obvious answer.
Yeah. And for anybody that will be considering this controller, that is an obvious answer. Because if you're considering this controller, you're like me, and you have stupid gaming stuff. And you've spent thousands of dollars on stupid gaming stuff. Because I saw this, and I was like, oh my god, do I want one. But I'd rather have an Oculus.
Yes. Yeah, it's just expensive. I think it's a cool... I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's a good way of... I think it's interesting to make a universal controller that works with any system you own. Like, that's really unique. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But for just the price, they
need to bring that down. They need to... I would pay double the price of a normal controller for this, for the usability that it does. And by saying that, I mean 120 is like the ceiling of what I would pay for this. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. There's the more I think about it, the more interesting I find it. But it also kind of conflicts me a little bit, because I think it's cool because you get to have that motion control experience with any game, and it's not limited to the system you're on. That's unique, but it's just I don't know. I guess where I'm conflicted is pretty much any system right now offers some motion control.
Yeah,
am I right? Just about. And
although the Kinect is still the best, and it's still shit.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's the best idea with nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But anyways, where I'm going with this, so all the systems right now offer motion controls as well as normal controls, and most of them are very good at allowing you to play games in different methods. So that kind of leaves me feeling like this is the only thing this really should or could be used for is PC. I guess I don't know.
I see your point.
I mean, it's just it's hard to define what audience is specifically going to buy this, because it's just all the systems already offer that control, and I can only see people maybe this being used best for people who wanted motion control experiences for their Xbox and PlayStations. But even then, I feel like that's a little kind of weird and redundant. So. I guess I just stand conflicted, being just the technology's already out there to be used. I guess this just makes it a little easier if you're willing to spend $300, so you don't have to change controllers out for every system you play. And also, that goes saying you need to probably make a really comfortable, sexy looking controller if you want to use it across the board for every single console too. So, yeah. Yeah.
It needs to be way sexier than that. That's for damn sure. And here's the conspiracy theorist in me. After seeing the Oculus get so much attention and then get bought out by Facebook for as much as it did, how many technological developers do you think we need to make a Kickstarter to see if we can do that too?
Yes, to raise awareness, much easier than they would be. Nick, don't do it. Don't put these ideas in my head.
Come on, you're a journalist. Dig! Dig, damn you!
And seriously, I will.
So, I mean, that was an interesting one. It tickles my fancy, but...
I think it's an interesting concept.
I also waited in line for 3 hours to try the Oculus at PAX. So, I might not be the best person for asking the opinion on this one.
And you got to and you waited 3 hours to play Duke Nukem 3D with the Oculus Rift.
No, Hawken, actually. Be jealous. Be jealous.
So when is that thing coming out? I feel like I ask this every time I'm on the show with you.
The Oculus? Not soon enough. that is what I will say.
I'll keep twiddling my thumbs with speculation.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Anyways, onward.
Onward and upwards and all the while twirling. So let's talk about this one, Silvio. This is an interesting one. So the game is nearly finished. He's from Sweden, and I don't know how to pronounce his currency.
Oh, the Swede dough.
So let's watch a video because it's interesting.
Hello
I want to
there,
talk
my
about
name
it.
is Niklas Swanberg. I'm the developer of Silvio, which is a first-person game for PC and Mac. It's about Juliet Waters, who is an audio recordist specialized in EVP, which means the electronic voice phenomena. It's when you record the voices of ghosts. She has trespassed into an old shut-down family park called Saginaw, and pretty soon things get weird.
2 years ago, I started building Silvio full-time. I wanted to make a game that wasn't like anything else, that had a strange open world, a surprising plot, and an intense atmosphere. I wanted to have a female in the lead role, but not the cliché adventurous type, but someone mellow, thoughtful, and able-minded. I wanted to make horror-style audio and eerie musical scores, and I wanted to place it all in a vast forest covered in black soil and buried in a red windy fog. Now, 2 years later, I've managed to sew all those ingredients and a whole lot more into a game that is reaching its finishing stages. The next step is to get people to know that the game exists, and as a self-financed indie developer, that can be pretty tricky. So that's where you come in. As the game is pretty big and can be a bit time-consuming to download, I thought I'd help magazines, game sites, reviewers and YouTubers on their way by sending them the game on a USB memory stick. So that's where the money will go, creating a promo package and sending it out across the world. Thanks for hearing me out. Check out the other gifts and the various ways of being a part of Silvio. Thanks for listening.
Blap, that's it. So...
Okay. I learned about this game a couple weeks ago.
Okay, fill us in,
and-
because that didn't tell me that much.
No, it didn't. That's actually really frustrating and sad to have seen that because we actually, I think it was Joel actually did a story on that for our website.
Oh, okay.
And there was a much better YouTube video, or they had a YouTube trailer that actually showed some gameplay.
Boy, would that not have been useful in your Kickstarter video?
Yeah, I actually didn't know that there was a Kickstarter for this, to be completely honest, until just now.
Huh.
So, which is very odd because I had known about this game for a couple of weeks.
Sorry, small comment as well. I'm not sure if people can see. This is shameless plug. But one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this game is look at this man that put Indie Game Mag above Rock Paper Shotgun.
That's
boom, mic dropped.
That's awesome.
Mic dropped. I'm out.
Yeah,
we
that's
win.
Really excited.
Yeah.
Ooh, damn Skippy.
Anyway, what's the game?
Anyway, okay, so let me give some. I don't know where. Okay, hold on. Let me compose myself. So essentially, you play a girl who gets a tape recorder, and she essentially records, I think, like voices from ghosts. I think I want to say, and essentially the Silvio, this place is a place that she goes to, this new recording software that she gets, and she decides to go there to test it out and record some voices, see what she could find, ghost voices or whatever. So now, from the YouTube video that I watched, it looks like you have like a blunderbuss like gun, and you go around this abandoned town. You could actually drive around the town. It's first person, and you can get in a car and drive to different houses and areas in this like red fogged forest, and you can like go into these houses and fill your blunderbuss with random items and use that to shoot these, I don't know, ghostly like figures. Yeah, and like in the video, it
Oh, here's
shows.
the trailer. Do we want to just watch a trailer? Yeah, the trailer's on the Kickstarter page.
Well, I mean, yeah, we can watch it. It doesn't show any of the gameplay. It's still quite mysterious.
Oh, okay. Okay, never mind.
But yeah, it's we don't have to. But I don't know. The one thing that really piqued my interest in this in the first place is like in the initial, they kind of pitched their game for fans of like Twin Peaks and David Lynch stuff. So I admittedly kind of freaked out because I have an unhealthy addiction to Twin Peaks and early David Lynch work. So I wanted to know as much as I could about this game. So I find this game really fascinating and really cool. Oh, there's a thing. There's a gameplay trailer.
I was gonna let you go on. We'll definitely watch this though. It's 4.5 minutes. I don't mind. Anyway, continue on.
I mean, that's all. That's pretty. It was. The person was like, "Yo, this is like David Lynch stuff," and I was like, "Yo, I want to play that."
Oh snap, son! How do I download? And he's like, "Yo, I'll get you a USB stick."
And get it to me on a tape, and I'll put it in my Commodore 64, and we'll do this.
Yes.
But it's So I was super excited. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. That's why.
Gameplay, go.
Okay.
Is that a thing? Yeah, that's a thing.
Looks like it's powered by this spray can. I wonder where the ammo is.
The ammo is that frying pan. Oh my god. Interesting. So very, very interesting. That music. Copy. If you guys want to back this on Steam, there is the green light. I am a big fan of the FPS, actually. But I do enjoy like the FPS RPG. Like Deus Ex was my absolute favorite game growing up. And then Bioshock was quite good. Bioshock Infinite is definitely one of my favorites. Kurt, are you still there, or are you just flabbergasted by the gnome again?
I was on mute.
Oh, okay.
and I've been sitting here being like, I want that game. Give me that game. Yeah, I think it was the gnome that did it. But enough of the gnome, because this game has brought me out of my flabbergastation of gnominess. So, because I really want that game.
You know that gnome is going to become a thing now, though.
That and Wonky Donkey was supposed to. So.
Good old Wonky.
But, oh god, that gnome was Wonky Donkey. But I really want this game. The music gets me tingling, and
I'm really excited to see this kind of project for sure.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, if anyone here, no, you're fine. If anyone here at Indie Game Magazine knows me at all, I like adventure games, like slower paced games that like have an emphasis on mood and atmosphere, and that thing got me all sorts of giddy. So, basically, as I want it, just so you know.
And that's really cool. Like they, Fleeting Infinity did some math, and he's only asking for like 1,400 American because the game is already nearly done, and he just wants to finish it, which is what Kickstarter is kind of supposed to be about for games, anyway.
The next thing you know, his next Kickstarter is going to go. Well, it's going to be on a world tour, and he's going to be playing. He's going to be playing that synthy music for $100,000.
You know
anyway.
you like this game, and at the end of this video is something that I try to tease you with to make you watch the whole thing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. That it's like what do I want to say? What was that game? I'm trying to think of Ghostbusters and like Amnesia.
Ooh, I like that too.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I am definitely okay with that. That's kind of cool.
But I think is that it? Or, I mean,
we got one more.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, this one is pardon the pun, which we'll get in a minute, but it's a high octane, high energy video. So.
Oh, I know what this one is.
Let's take a look at Air Brawl. So, I really enjoy that game. Again, we just watch a game trailer, which is kind of annoying.
Yes.
But whatevs. Some of the weird things is like, I loved the weapons, but what is the actual logistics of that? You're in a jet fighter and you're like, oh, I've got I'm out of homing missiles. What else do I got? Well, I've got this 22 sitting in the cockpit with me. I guess I'll just shoot through the glass.
Or what about that? You have an anchor that doesn't hold you down.
Right? Where is he holding that thing when he doesn't shoot it?
But I could see this being on the Dreamcast for some reason, but
because everything good deserves to be on the Dreamcast. That's why.
Exactly. So, but yeah, you know, I have an anchor in my plane. It ain't holding me down, but I'll hold this guy down.
But there are some neat things like the gravity well that we saw, and I do like the attention to skill. It was kind of cool, like with flying.
Yeah.
And it's something that I haven't seen. Nobody's going to get this reference because they're all going to think the Xbox. But there was a PC game, and let me clear it. It's the PC version, not the Xbox sequel that came out, of Crimson Skies. And it was like the only game that I enjoyed that was like all around biplane dogfighting tactics. And it's really interesting because it brings a whole different perspective to like how you play PvP and that kind of stuff. And I think this one is interesting. She's asking for just under 50 grand, which isn't too bad. There is a playable demo, so maybe we should... Well, I'd love to say that we should get her on Average Giants, but she's also from Sweden. So we'll see what the language barriers are like, and then definitely ask her. Because it's really cool.
I think the visuals are sweet and very modern and cool.
Very
and
polished.
Yeah, and you know, these buildings kind of with propellers in the sky, like that's unique. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the only thing that it's lacking for the $50,000 it's asking for is like a clear narrative or reason for all this. But maybe that doesn't need to be. Maybe that's just me, I guess. But I guess I just need to see more than just the one city and the anchor gun.
Yeah. Come on, the anchor gun was kind of cool, but it's just
that's worth $50,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a neat idea, but the logistics there are just like,
Yeah.
Also, the sniper rifle.
Oh, yes.
Who's got the time to aim a sniper rifle while flying a high-velocity jet fighter?
Apparently this person does. From real-life experience.
Yeah. That is some crazy multitasking. That's all I gotta say. Also, what is a batapult? What? Oh my god, you shoot a bunch of bats.
Wait, what?
Yeah. No, I'm not even kidding. It'll show up on the... There we go, on the video. I don't know if you can see it very well, but he fires a thing out in front of him, and then it explodes into a cloud of bats that go and attack a plane. What?
Huh.
I want this game to be made just for these ridiculous weapons.
There's a lot of really interesting concepts there. Almost like Insomniac game, crazy kind of guns. Whoa! I'm sorry, just seeing the bats finally attack the ship.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah, it looks really interesting. I want to see more of it, but I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for this one. If you want the game, let me put the link in chat, like we've been doing this entire show, right? Cough, cough.
Oh, bollocks.
If you want the game, it'll be about $14 American, which is like 100 krona. I'm getting learned in the way of Swedish currency because of this episode. Yeah. But that's about going to do it for us, I think. I got nothing else.
Doesn't
Do you
sound
got
weird,
anything?
but... What's that?
Do you got anything else for today?
No.
Okay.
Other than Swedish game developers are sweet.
Yes. So the Swedes are sweet. They do so many cool things.
Yeah.
Give us so many cool people. Also Silvio. Yes.
Yes.
I also put the green light for Silvio if you guys want to get it through the green light process. And hopefully he won't rage at Mr. Newell. Sorry.
Oh, please.
Had to tie in the whole episode there.
Yep. From ending off on anchor guns to the sad reality of people and their hate for nothing.
Yeah. Yep, the consequences of Twitter. All right, but on that happy note, we're going to be signing off for the day. Make sure to join us tomorrow. We have a very special episode of Average Giants. It's one of my absolute favorite episodes because this is, on Average Giants, we get so many games that are early in development. And then, obviously, we don't just say, thanks for being on the show, go fuck yourself. We stay in touch with them. So we have Lost Orbit was on the show a long, long time ago, showing off this amazing game where you're an astronaut that's racing through the stars, and it's like this high-speed, adrenaline-pumped adventure. But apparently, what we saw felt like a finished game, but they were only showing off like 2 of the game mechanics and how the game would look.
Ooh.
Now, like 6-ish months later, they finished the game. They're just it's in like late beta, so they're just fixing bugs in that, and they want to show it off on Average Giants. So
nice.
Tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. MST if you want to check that out. We're gonna have another guest as well, but that's gonna be a surprise. So come see.
Ooh.
And thank you all for joining us for our wickedly awesome, powerful, wonderful, super amazo Sunday newscast.
Gnomes and all.
Gnomes and all. That gnome is going to become such a thing now.
Oh,
the gnome of Flabbergastatron.
When that game comes out, it's going to be the only game you do on Average Giants.
Oh, yeah.
Guest starring me.
Until Hover comes out. I'm sorry, but we're going to rename it to the Hover Hour of the Hover Week. And then it'll just be me and Ryan salivating.
Oh, the future. Anyways.
Yeah, oh, the future.
But yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for being super talkative and chatty-watty, so that's great. And make sure to subscribe and do the YouTube liking thing.
Sure, like, subscribe.
Yeah, for YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and make our website your homepage, buy our magazine.
We have a whole buttload of YouTube content coming out in the next week, too. I've been holding the floodgates back, and I'm about to crack them wide open. So we've got like 6 or 7 videos, I think, already lined up. So, yeah. Anyway, make sure to check it all out. Thank you, Kurt, for being an awesome co-host. I like being a co-host as well. It's nice.
Thank you, Nick.
It's nice when we do you and me because we agree on everything.
Pretty much. Pretty much. And even if we don't, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But when does that happen? Okay, well, until next week or next time, everyone, thank you.
Yep. And from everybody here at IGM, much love, guys, and we'll see y'all next time.
So long. Bye.